compiling emissions inventory of HFCs, and including HFC Bank into NDC are important to implement measures for HFC's emission reduction and assess the exact progress. This video introduces the method of calculating HFC emissions as well as how to address major challenges related to data collection. The inventory developing process explained in this video is based on the emission factor approach recommended by the IPCC. To compile an inventory, two sets of data are needed. First, consumption, such as production, imports, destruction, and exports. Then second, pre-charge imports and exports of equipment. Since the amount of consumption of HFC must be reported under the Kigali Amendment, many countries have recent data. Those countries that do not have the data yet are also in the process for preparation. The amount of refrigerant pre-charged in imported equipment accounts for a large portion in total refrigerant coming into developing countries. Without pre-charged HFC amount data, HFC emissions cannot be properly estimated as defined in UNFCCC reporting requirement. Pre-charged amount data can also be referred to when countries plan their refrigerant management strategy, including refrigerant recovery and destruction. The amount of produced, imported as bulk and pre-charge amount for new equipment goes into the HFC Bank. Bank means the amount of HFCs used and stored as refrigerants in refrigeration and air conditioning equipment that are already existing in the market. Refrigerant leaks from the bank at a constant rate each year. This leakage is counted as emissions during use of equipment. Accidental leak should be also taken into account. Banked amount cannot be measured directly. A certain model is necessary to estimate the amount. When equipment is disposed, the refrigerant remaining in the equipment may be either recovered or emitted. Recovered refrigerant would be either destroyed or recycled. The recycled refrigerant is rebanked. There are three major challenges that developing countries would face when compiling HFC inventory. No available data on the HFC amount in pre-charged equipment. No available data on the banked HFC amount. No historical HFC consumption data. Now, let us introduce how to estimate the amount of imported refrigerant as pre-charged in equipment to address one of the major challenges. Pre-charged amount can be estimated by multiplying the amount of equipment imported and sold by the amount of charge per unit by refrigerant types. The composition of refrigerant types varies for each application. For example, room air conditioners often use R410A, while car air conditioners use R134A in principle. It is desirable for your government to periodically obtain reports of the type and the amount of pre-charged refrigerants when importing or exporting equipment containing refrigerants. This allows you to estimate more specific figures. EU, for example, adopts this approach. The total amount of refrigerant in the country can be estimated by adding the bulk import amount to the pre-charge amount. Hereinafter, consumption will mean the sum of imported refrigerant of both bulk and pre-charge. Next, we will show how to identify historical HFC consumption and estimate banked amount. The 2006 IPCC guidelines provide an Excel worksheet for HFC inventory of refrigerants. By inputting available annual consumption amount, including pre-charge, it will calculate emissions. As a solution for countries without historical data, the worksheet estimates historical consumption based on consumption in a given year and average market growth rate. It will also calculate the banked amount in the course. This simple model is easy to handle for the estimation of historical HFC consumption and banked amount. Recovery and destruction of refrigerant can be also taken into account in this worksheet. Similar worksheets are also provided for other HFC uses, such as foam blowing agent. To further improve the calculation method, it is necessary to disaggregate types of application to the sub-application levels. This enables to reflect more realistic conditions such as emission factor, equipment lifetime, and so on. IPCC's 2019 refinement includes a worksheet to support this advanced estimation method. Emission factors often draw interest of national GHG inventory compilers, but precision of the factors doesn't necessarily contribute to overall accuracy of an inventory, because consumption amount determines upper limit of emissions and thus critical. Therefore, the default emission factors should be sufficient for the time being. Compiling an emission inventory is a first step in planning HFC mitigation measures in the Nationally Determined Contribution, or NDC. And the inventory is one of the most important data for monitoring the progress of emission reduction measures. Although there are difficulties in collecting data for the inventory, understanding the HFC emissions in your country is the essential first step for HFC reduction. The Ministry of the Environment of Japan will continue to provide the support for HFC inventory compiling and to engage in climate mitigation actions in your NDCs.